Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right in to totally dismantle the illusion of flashy success and reveal the quiet, almost invisible habits that actually build lasting wealth. Most people just assume that wealth arrives with some sudden, massive lifestyle glow-up. We're talking the luxury cars, the designer wardrobes, the first-class vacations. But what if I told you that true wealth actually sneaks up on you quietly? Today, we're going to look at the subtle shifts in mindset and behavior that indicate you might already be getting rich, maybe without even realizing it. So look, the absolutely crucial point here is how we define success right from the start. On one hand, we have flashy wealth, the stuff you see blasted all over social media. It's totally rooted in public approval and proving to everybody else that you've made it. But on the flip side, we have stealth wealth. Real wealth isn't about an Instagram glow-up or winning the lottery. It's about having the financial breathing room to not go into an absolute panic when an emergency hits. People who are genuinely financially secure, they don't feel the need to show off. They prefer peace of mind, solid emergency funds, and letting their money quietly do the heavy lifting in the background while they sleep. All right, let's jump into Section 1, shifting your mindset, specifically managing your consumption. Because building wealth starts with exactly what you consume on a daily basis, and no, I don't just mean food and water. Let's look at this whole mindful consumer concept. Whatever you interact with daily literally shapes your future. Take person A versus person B. Person A is reading self-improvement books, they're exercising, and they're learning high-income skills. Now, person B is caught in this endless cycle of doom-scrolling social media, binging 3 solid hours of Netflix every single night, and stressing over random people driving supercars on the internet. Just like food fuels your physical body, the content and habits you consume fuel your financial future. Swapping Netflix for reading or gaming for skill building pretty much makes financial success inevitable. There's this fantastic quote from Mark Twain: "When you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect." And man, does this apply perfectly to money. The reality is, the majority of people are not wealthy, which means the majority of financial advice floating around out there might actually be holding you back. You hear people say all the time, "Oh, if you just skip your daily Starbucks coffee, you'll become a millionaire." But honestly, I don't know a single person who built massive, lasting wealth just by skipping their morning latte. You should really never take common financial advice from people who aren't wealthy themselves. So, how do we actively reject that whole majority mindset? First things first, ignore that trivial advice about the daily coffee. Instead, seek out guidance exclusively from folks who have actually put their own advice into practice and built real wealth. But here is the absolute biggest trap you need to avoid: lifestyle inflation. You know the feeling. You get a raise, and suddenly it's so incredibly tempting to immediately upgrade your car, your wardrobe, or your apartment. If you want to conquer this, you have to keep your expenses stable even when your income goes up. You need to discipline your spending to accumulate wealth, rather than just eating up your new paycheck. Money has to be viewed as a tool for long-term security, not a golden ticket for instant spending. Moving on to Section 2, building your money engine through value creation. Now, what if money wasn't just something you tucked away in a savings account, but something you actually built a self-sustaining engine around? You see, the difference between a CEO making millions and a janitor emptying the trash isn't just the fancy title on their door. It really boils down to one core concept: value creation. The specific worth you bring to the marketplace dictates your income. Both of those jobs are necessary, absolutely, but one provides a type of value that is much, much harder to replace. If you ever find yourself frustrated with your income, the secret isn't necessarily clocking more hours. It's figuring out how to add irreplaceable value to your marketplace. That is how you naturally bump up your paycheck. To build that money engine, you basically have 2 main paths. First, you can specialize. This means acquiring high-income skills through serious education and experience, making yourself incredibly difficult to replace. Think of a surgeon compared to a cashier. But there's a second path, and this is the one the wealthiest people in the world use all the time: scaling. Business owners scale by leveraging other people's time and expertise to produce value for the masses. Instead of just trading their own hours for dollars, they build entire systems that deliver value on a massive, massive scale. Which brings us to the fundamental wealth rule. It's super simple, but absolutely a game changer. Assets put money in your pocket over time, while liabilities take money out. Broke people tend to buy depreciating items, things like luxury cars or designer clothes that literally lose value the second you buy them. Meanwhile, what are the secretly rich doing? They are quietly focusing all their resources on properties, stocks, and side hustles. They're building multiple streams of passive income, so their wealth is completely insulated from risk and constantly growing. Just picture it. Your appreciating assets, like a rental property, your dividend-paying stocks, or your business, steadily climbing upward. Now contrast that with a depreciating liability that just drops sharply the exact moment you drive it off the lot. When your money is increasing while you're literally sleeping, thanks to investments or dividends, you've successfully transitioned from active effort to making your money work for you. That right there is your engine running entirely on its own. Now, here is a number I really want you to remember. 0. 0 is the exact number of true wealth empires that were built overnight. We live in this crazy world of instant gratification where everyone is hunting for the next get-rich-quick scheme or some hot cryptocurrency. But the most powerful strategy the wealthy use, it's the magic of compound growth. They understand that small, consistent investments turn into massive futures. It just takes patience. All right, as that money engine of yours starts humming, you've got to protect your most limited resource. Let's look at Section 3, Master Time in Action. Because wealthy people, they protect their time exactly like they protect their money. Actually, scratch that. They probably protect it even more fiercely. Because here's the harsh reality. We all only have 24 hours in a day. Once you factor in sleeping, eating, and spending time with family, there just isn't much left. Therefore, simply trading your time for money in a standard 9 to 5 isn't a super efficient path to sizable wealth. You're eventually going to hit a ceiling because you literally run out of hours to trade. So how on earth do they get around that limitation? Well, they manipulate time. They outsource low-value tasks to exponentially increase their productive hours. They basically hire out the things that don't directly build their wealth or bring them joy. They say a hard no to mindless distractions. They reject those get-rich-quick schemes because they know those are usually a massive waste of both time and money. Realizing that all great businesses take persistent action allows you to stop living on autopilot and start actively scaling the productive hours you do have. The wealthy approach life through what we call the act and adapt method. You know that feeling where you feel like you've been living the exact same day for years? The rich avoid that entirely by treating life like a giant ongoing experiment. Step 1, try something new, maybe a new investing strategy or learning a fresh skill. Step 2, mindfully evaluate it. Ask yourself, is this actually moving me toward my financial goals? And step 3, adjust. You have to deliberately pivot when something, like picking individual stocks for example, just isn't working for you. You act, you evaluate, and you adapt. It's what keeps you constantly moving forward instead of just spinning your wheels. Okay, let's bring the whole shebang together for Section 4, Real Wealth is Freedom. Because once you master your consumption, your money engine, and your time, this is where you unlock the ultimate goal. So what are the quiet signs that you've actually made it? Well, first off, you're definitely no longer living paycheck to paycheck. You actively prioritize your long-term security way over making quick cash. You've got a solid emergency fund ready to go for life's inevitable surprises. And most importantly, you make your life decisions based on what is genuinely best for you, not out of sheer financial panic. If you are showing these signs, from having that emergency safety net to delaying immediate gratification, congratulations, you are building the ultimate financial cushion. You might not feel rich in that flashy Instagram sense just yet, but you have something way better, actual options. So, I want to leave you with one final, pretty big question to chew on. Are you working for a traditional retirement at 65, or are you working for ultimate financial freedom today? True wealth isn't about grinding away for decades, just hoping to finally relax when you're older. It sneaks up on you quietly by creating a life where you have freedom, security, and total control over your future right now. Keep building those hidden, highly effective habits. Seriously, evaluate your consumption, build up your assets, fiercely protect your time, and soon enough, the freedom you've built is going to speak for itself. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and keep building that quiet wealth.